I really don't care what anybody says. This has been by far the worst fantasy football season when it comes to injuries, when it comes to top players not playing well and just being in committees. This has been the worst season. I'm going to tell you how to save your season heading into fantasy football week 8 right here, right now. Okay? I'm going to explain to you what the odds makers, the NFL, allegedly is doing here and how they're out to screw your fantasy teams and how you can overcome it. Okay, this is very important because it's one thing to complain and whine and all that stuff, but it's another thing to be aware of this, not just for this year, but for next year, because, hey, we're in here for the long haul. It's not a one-season thing. It's a marathon. We're in Dynasty here. We're playing every year. We just want to get better, and it's so hard to do that in this modern day because of all of these committees, and particularly this year, all these injuries. So I'm going to recap everything that's gone wrong and how you can potentially fix it. So if you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it. This is the only channel talking about this. I can't believe, now I don't listen to other channels that much, but I got my ear to the ground. I'm aware. Everybody's just kind of sugarcoating stuff. Nobody's talking about what's really going on. And the fact of the matter is, this is alleged. These games are being manipulated. And guess what? The NFL can legally rig games, right? They can do it. Just like the WWE, they can make it scripted, right? And I'm seeing it. If you watch the last game with the Buccaneers, even Mayfield, I saw some interviews, him saying like, dude, there are some weird calls going on, right? And they just want certain teams to win for certain weeks and certain players to succeed, and they want to mess up your prop bets, and starters aren't starting. So let's talk about it, okay? And I got some news here, of course, for you. Stay to the end. I'm going to give you guys some practical advice on how you can actually win your leagues, okay? Based on all of this craziness, okay? Again, hit the thumbs up. Let's get to it and drop your start to sits questions below. Now, let's start with the news here, some injury news here. We're going to talk about also the injured players this year that have been catastrophic to people's leagues, right? So, for example, this week, right, we're heading into NFL week 8, Josh Palmer, ankle, did not participate. Lamar Jackson could be back, but he's dealing with a hamstring. I mean, this is a guy I mentioned would regress. There's certain players that I can see, hey, this guy's going to regress. Why? Because they had pinnacle year the year before, right? And they're going to naturally regress. Like guys like Saquon Barkley, lack of performance. We're going to talk about that, right? So Lamar Jackson, hammy, I hope you didn't draft him, right? Chris Godwin, leg, ruled out for this week. You got Evans, broken clavicle, collarbone area, gone. And I was reading that it's like his 11th straight season with 1,000 yards receiving, and that's going to be done. Okay, it's over for him. Like this guy, it's over the hill, and he got hurt, right? So a lot of people drafted Evans round 3, and I was telling you, go Emeka Egbuka. He's he's a dynamic, talented guy. Now, who would have thought, right? Emeka I saw, but now Tez Johnson is the wide receiver too. I mean, going into the season, everybody was on Evans. I'm like, dude, Evans, yeah, he's going to be good. He's getting older. Give me the youth. And now he's gone. Godwin, I saw that coming. And then now Tez, right? So a lot of people that shouldn't be on top are on top right now. It's been crazy, right? So Evans, collarbone, Bucky's out. He's got foot and shoulder injuries. Waller came out, was doing good. Came out of retirement. Terrible rapper, in my opinion, right? Came out. Now is dealing with, he's on IR. I think it was his pectoral muscle. Haskins was a top waiver wire pickup a couple weeks ago. Out. Doubtful, sorry. Aaron Jones should be back from a hamstring. Nico Collins was dealing with a concussion, right? And it's just been that type of year. This is going into this week. Those are the injuries for this week. It's been that type of year that big names have fallen. So let's talk about some other big names that have fallen, had injuries that have sent them out for going on IR or like just completely like done, right? Like done for the season. So people that have been affected so far this year, just to mention a few. A guy that I believed in, Omarion Hampton, gone. 2nd round pick. On IR, probably missing 4 weeks guaranteed, probably going to miss more. This is a young, dynamic guy. And if you look at that injury, it looks ridiculous. Now, if you want to get down the rabbit hole with me, there's been a lot of hamstring injuries. And who's to say that these guys aren't told, hey, you're sidelined, we're going to say it's a hammy? Or how about the whole Emeka Egbuka thing where, it's a game time decision, right? I sat him because I don't trust coaches, right? It's a game time decision. And then last minute, he's playing, when they knew he was going to play the entire time. Does that make sense? They're screwing with you. I'm telling you guys, they're screwing with you. Okay, let's talk about some injuries here. Kittle, who came back, and what did he do? Laid an egg, right? Like, Kittle was a top pick. Now, I mentioned that he was going to decline this year. Draft Tyler Warren, because Tyler Warren was in such a great opportunity. That was the guy to get. I'm doing great at tight end. I'm comfortable with Tyler Warren as my starter every week. I don't sit him, right? But a lot of people drafted George Kittle, and like, look how he's done. But he's back. Hopefully he bounces back. Amari Hampton, we talked about. Malik Neighbors, a first-round pick. He's out. Now, that's a real injury. It looks real. He's out. Sucks. Like guys like James Conner, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, who just came back, right? He missed a lot of time. Tyreek Hill, Puka Nacua. These are just some huge names that were drafted high draft capital that have been banged up. Chuba Hubbard, who just came back. And he went in, and that's another thing. So let's talk about this, right? Rico Dowdle comes out and tears it up. Now you can say it was easier matchups he had. Comes up and tears it up, and he's the starter. Like, it's one thing for a player to get injured, right? And a backup comes in and just does the basics, right? Rico was like the number one player in fantasy at the running back position. Number one running back in the league, statistically. Tears it up, and they're doing well, and they bring back Chuba to start, completely splicing and slicing that volume share, right? This is the annoying thing, right? Players, now you see Jahmyr Gibbs tear it up, right? As soon as they're starting to not use Montgomery as much, giving him the volume, he's going to tear it up. As soon as a player gets an opportunity that's good or decent, they do well, they shine. But as soon as it becomes a committee, that player is hindered. I'll give you another example that's really pissing me off this year. Travion Henderson, right? It's terrible. The guy, I just read an article on this. Check this out. And I'm not going to quote it exactly verbatim. I'm just going to kind of give you an example of what the gist of the article said. Head coach and team is basically saying that Henderson is not having really any issues. It's not an issue with him like learning the playbook or learning what's going on. They say he knows what's going on. That's what the article states. I can't remember who it was, but I read it. It's a legit article. It's not that he doesn't know what he's doing. It's just the fact that like they just don't want to use him. They said that the game flow was good with Stevenson. They just kept using him, right? Like, Stevenson sucks. Garbage player for years. In fact, fumbled his job away 3 times. Yet they continue to use him and bench the better player. I mean, going back a couple years ago, you look at a guy like Kyron Williams, right? Like, Kyron Williams wouldn't have had a shot if Cam Akers didn't go down. And Kyron Williams, good, tore it up, doing well. And now he's kind of, getting paid, and they're using Blake Corum. It blows my mind. They continue with this committee, right? And you see like RJ Harvey, another thing that pissed me off this year, okay? RJ Harvey, high draft capital by the Broncos, top prospect, explosive, and then a free agent that wasn't even drafted or acquired, by a team in free agency, Dobbins, comes out of nowhere and steals the light. It's just, this is the type of season we have. There's no guarantees. There's no promises. There's no security from injuries. Guys that should be wowing aren't wowing. Brian Thomas Jr., I mentioned he declined. Again, certain things that I see. Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas, I said that they decline. They're declining. Now, Ladd has had 3 consecutive weeks. Big part of that was QJ not playing, stuff like that. And you have Oronde Gaddiston, a top waiver wire for week 8, who I told you to stash, has been tearing up. He was a deep stash. One of my sleepers in 16 rounds. He's tearing it up. But there's been a lot of unforeseen. And what's crazy is, like, players that have one good week have a terrible week the week after. Another thing, they're using, like, tight end threes. And who was that one player, Mumpfield, that came out? Was he on the Rams? Something like that? It's like, where's Tutu Atwell? He was a top waiver wire pick. Like, first drive or second drive of the game, Mumpfield for touchdown. Like, the guy was a 7th round pick by the team, and they just bring him out for a touchdown. Or these tight end threes that are coming out, getting touchdowns, hoarding away volume from your players. All right, so this is the type of stuff that's going on. I've never seen it like, it's never been this bad, where their main focus is to hinder great players from getting the volume and putting these committees in, even when Bijan's doing well. Right? They bring Algier near the goal line. I know Bijan had a great game a week or two ago, and it's like, okay, that's good. Well, why did Algier steal that goal line carry? Oh, they got to mix it up. No, you play your best player. You don't need Algier touching the ball, okay? And the big part, why are they doing this? It's easy, guys. Prop betting. Prop bets, people take it over and under. I'll go back a couple weeks, give you an example. Travion Henderson, when Gibson went down, I was all over the over. Okay? on the 9 rushing attempts. This is going back a week or two, right? It was, 2 weeks ago. When Henderson should have been starting that game, okay? When Gibson went down. He should have been a 3-down back. Stevenson has fumbled his job over and over and over again. He had a good week last week, but that's not here nor there. This is 2 weeks ago. So I'm like, dude, Gibson's done. Henderson tore up training camp, and this is what that article said. Henderson tore up training camp, and he did well in preseason. He's the starter, high draft capital guy, most explosive player on that offense, right? Gibson's done. Gibson shouldn't have even been touching the ball. The over on the 9, right? Easy. It was a 9.5, whatever, over. He ended up doing 9. The over was 9.5 on the prop. They kept him at 9. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so, man. Like, how do they get it within half a point and keep him below that point? Does that make sense? It's manipulation, it's rigging, and you look at the Chiefs, right? You look at the Chiefs, or even look at this past week when I said the Buccaneers are a hot team. I knew that they wouldn't cover the spread. I knew it almost seemed like a give me. I think it was like 6.5 or 5.5. And in my Counselor's Edge, if you haven't got Counselor's Edge, get it below. You get the season pass for like $40 for the entire year. Get all my picks, man. I'm putting a lot of time into this, right? And it's like, I knew the Bucs would lose that game. Why? Because they're the hot team. The spread seemed tempting. Oh, obviously the Bucs are going to cover this. Nope, they weren't. And that's, again, it's like they're manipulating. The refs' calls are really sketchy, right? Calls that should be first downs are not first downs. Calls that are touchdowns are called back, right? We've got the tush push, right? Illegal motion where they're moving right before the tush push. That's being called on some plays, some not, some other teams not. It's been crazy, man. It's like calls in the NFL are now subjective. So this is what we're dealing with now, guys. So listen, if you want to win, so how do we combat this? Guys, it's very, very simple. All right? Actually, it's not that simple because you can't really control what's on the field. First of all, let's go back. You want to draft the best possible team. Draft non-injury prone players, even though you, like guys like Puka, like shows an injury history. Older guys like Tyreek Hill, you want to mitigate the risk. So they're older. Guys like Evans, guys like Henry, who the fall off year was imminent, right? Saquon coming off pinnacle year. So I'm able to narrow it down with you with 16 rounds. And then it's about being aware on who the volume guys are. Like, for example, people are picking up waiver wire picks, right, that had 1 touchdown and 2 targets. No, you want guys that are consistent. Let me give you an example. Aronde Gadsden, right? Last week did well. The week before had a lot of targets. He had the 1 week with a lot of targets, the second week with a ton of targets. There's a pattern. You got to look for patterns. You got to look for consistency. Another thing, with quarterbacks, you don't want to take risks and take chances when you're drafting a quarterback. Everyone's like, oh, Justin Fields. Justin Fields had years to wow us, we're not wowed. That is why that saying holds true. Years to wow me, and I'm not wowed. Okay? That is how you win. You don't want to draft players that haven't wowed. I'm better off rolling the dice on a rookie that maybe busts than taking a player that has had years to wow us, we're not wowed. That's why Tutu sucks. He didn't do well. Mind you, he's in a great position to succeed with, Puka being out. But this is the type of stuff, guys, we're dealing with when it comes to fantasy this year, and it's been wild. So buckle up, guys. If you have any questions, specifically drop them below. If you want to get my Patreon group, join my Patreon group because you can get direct access guaranteed. Patreon.com/FFCounselor. Join the Generals package. And then dive in there, and I drop a Q&A every Thursday, and I'll get to your questions guaranteed. You guys should have to drop it in before 9 p.m. on Saturday. Or if you have any questions here, I'll try to get to as many as I can. It's a community, guys. Dive in, help each other. But this is what we're dealing with, right? And to overcome it, now you just got to look for who's consistent. Guys like Emeka Buka, guys like Jonathan Taylor. Maybe trade for some of these guys, right? If a guy's not performing, let him have a hot week and trade him while he's hot because he's been inconsistent. As soon as there's a hot week, bam, trade them. That's fantasy football advice that wins, right? Sell them where they're hot because people, the sheep, they only go for recency bias. They love recency bias, right? Even in the sports card industry, a player gets hot, they want that card. As soon as he breaks down, that card is worth nothing. Same thing with fantasy. You got to ride it when it's hot or sell it when it's hot, and you got to look for consistency. Week in, week out, high targets, high volume, right? Now, guys like, let's go back to Travion Henderson. I'm going to sit him, right? Until I see consistency, right? I'm not happy right now, right? Again, this is it. Like, Look for consistency. At this point, you should know who your starters are, start your starters, and have conviction and belief in your team. And hey, if it doesn't work this year, we're going to get them next year. Again, it's a marathon. But again, nobody's been safe this year. You cannot tell me you've been safe. All right? Now, there may be a couple people, maybe they just drafted that perfect roster. Everybody's hitting. It happens, but very rarely because everybody's affected. Everybody's been affected by injury. I have teams that rarely get injured. I got a lot of guys that have been hurt. Okay? It's just the name of the game. All right? Now, mind you, I'm still doing well. I got my anchors. I got good defense. I got Josh Allen, who's been consistent. Bo Nix covered me on my bye week last week. Got Tyler Warren. I got a lot of consistency, but there's been a lot of inconsistencies as well. All right? Let me know how you guys are doing. Drop a question below. Hopefully this helps. Fantasy Football Week 8 is upon us. Subscribe, thumbs up, join Patreon. And yeah, man, I just have to be open and honest with you guys and just lay out the facts. There's definitely some manipulation in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think below. All right? Have a great day. We'll talk soon. And must start a sits video coming out tomorrow. I'm out.